Good morning to all. Can someone unmute or text me if I'm audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Can hear.
All right. Thank you for that. Okay, so we start with this marketing segmentation, which we have started in the last class. We have gone through the learning objectives and the content that we would be discussing in the class, and also the segmentation of what are the component of the segmentation. Segmentation usually consists of these three things. One is segmenting, means segregating the population according to the chosen characteristics, and selecting the target segment and targeting that particular segment and positioning your product to that particular target segment. So the main objective, aim of segmenting a market is to avoid unnecessary marketing expenses over the non-target population. So you understand, identify who is your target market, who is your target buyer, and you separate them from the crowd, and you target them, and you reach them to sell your product. So that is the complete concept of this particular chapter. So segmenting markets, marketers who target the segments of market can better meet the needs of those targeted. So that's the main thing. So when you identify your segment, and you will be able to serve them better, and because you will be understanding them better, so you group them according to their perception, their attitude, or their age or race, whatever the parameter that we choose, and according to that you will be able to understand their needs, and then you will be able to meet them in a better way. So it's a process of dividing a market. So you basically divide the market based on some characteristics, and by dividing that you form smaller subgroups, and these smaller subgroups will have similarities within them, and based upon the characteristics that you use. So that's how it happens, and we will try to explain in a different way. And you look at here how the segmentation of, wait a minute, why the slide is not moving to me. There are some students still haven't joined, almost 4 to 5 students. Yeah, so now it moves. Now, so segment your potential market by dividing it based on some characteristics, and thereby you see, as you see in the picture, a smaller groups has been made. So these smaller groups, you can see the different colors are used to represent that the smaller groups share commonalities among them, means there is a similarities among them. So a group looks in the same color, pink, white, and green, and this. So there is a mix also given. So this is different segments. So through this, what has been shown in the picture is a heterogeneous population has been made into a relatively homogeneous subgroups. So the homogeneous subgroup is something that shares same characteristics. So the same way, if you take example, diabetes population definitely would share some commonalities, means the characteristics of the diabetic patients and the experience that they get through the treatment or through the disease, and the attitude of their treatment seeking attitude, and everything will have some similarities. So some people with diabetes will be more on choosing the natural remedies. Some people will be more on choosing the lifestyle. Some people will be more on choosing the conventional medicines. So that way. So some people will be means in the early stages of the diabetes. Some people will be in the severe stage. So according to this, these are some characteristics which pharmacists can use to group subgroup the diabetic population. By subgrouping this way, the pharmacist able to advise them a better choice of treatment or better treatment package. So you segment the market, you identify your target market, then you target that actual market. So when you target the actual market, the pharmacist or the marketer will use different types of components, which is called as marketing mix. So as you see in the slide, marketers targets the attractive markets with a unique marketing mix, and the marketing mix is price, product, promotion, and place. We often call this as 4Ps because there are 4Ps, and there is another concept 4 plus 3 7Ps also. So this is 4Ps. So when the question comes like explain the 4Ps of marketing mix, then you must able to be explaining this price, product, promotion, and place. So these terms often, as I said, refers as the 4Ps. So using this term, the company will be able to target its customer or it target its target buyer, and thereby it will be able to expand its business. So the challenge is to determine the important similarities and differences that help spot the market opportunities. So when you identify your subgroup, whether the subgroup is considerably potential or not, then you will be able to identify the opportunities associated with that subgroups and offer a product more finely tuned to the needs of the target customers. As I said, when you segment the market, you will be better understanding the market and you will be better understanding the consumer need, and thereby you can actually tailor the products so that it meets the demand or the need or wants of the customer. And refine the marketing message. So by segmenting the market, you divide the people with the common characteristics, and thereby you will be able to decide or strategize the marketing message to reach this buyer, whether you are going to use emotional appeal, or you are going to use product-based appeal, or company-based appeal, or brand-based appeal. So anything that will be decided here. And command the premium pricing strategy. So usually a company could use a premium pricing strategy to establish its product as a high quality product in the mindset of the consumers. So sometimes you see that's how it happens between the Apple and other phones in the market, so the other Android phones. So Apple creates a brand loyalty, creates a premium mindset among the people, so they will be able to pay double the amount also. And the same goes to the Rolex watch also. So the watches are same. There are watches which exactly gives the functions or the similarities with Rolex watch, but you see Rolex watch is extremely costly. The same goes to the top end cars and the best quality cars also. So it's premium prices. So these will be done only if you understand your customer. And if you see the country, the segment is middle class, not high money making society, then if you sell the cars, watches like Rolex or cars like BMW, then you will not be able to sell the product. So you need to understand the target. So you segment the market based on the different characteristics, and you identify which is your target market, and you target that. So here, targeting in marketing is a kind of strategy that breaks the large market into smaller segments, as you see in the picture, and thereby it concentrates on the smaller segments. So a company, by making segmentation of the market, will avoid the resources spent over this non-target market. So this is basically a non-target market. So if you don't segment the market, you will be basically spending your marketing money expenses over this population also, who is not going to buy your product at all. So that's how marketing segmentation is helping a marketing company. The third one is positioning. So when you segment the market population and you identify which is your target market, then you need to position your product to the mind of the consumer. So positioning is usually a company's ability. If I'm a marketing company, how capable I am in influencing the consumer perception regarding the product or the brand that I'm going to launch. So that's what is going to make the product positioned in the market. It means that it is remembered by the buyer. So when they recall of buying some product, and if your brand comes in their mind, it means that your brand is positioned. So by doing this one, any company will be able to establish the image or identity of a brand or product so that consumer perceive it in a certain way. So when we think about a fast food and suddenly McDonald's comes in our mind, or KFC comes in our mind, or Subway comes in our mind. So different people thinks different product. So different people perceived the different product in different way. So there are factors over there. So if I think of fast food immediately that I want to eat something, then Subway comes in my mind, then as I perceived Subway as a good product. And if you think of a MACD, then that's the perception of you. And definitely over all this, there is a market influence. So there might be a McDonald's outlet near our residence. So where every day we used to go out, we see the board McDonald's. So automatically it will be fixed in our mind. So anytime that we think of fast food, McDonald's will come in our mind. So the marketers position their brand into our brain. So when you talk about this positioning, where you create you influence the consumer to remember your brand image or product name, there are several ways that the companies usually do this. So either by conveying the information about the product benefits or characteristics to the consumer, or by conveying the information about the product price. You say that your product is based in the market. Your product is prepared through the advanced technologies. Your product is going to satisfy the consumer need. Or you say whether the product is cheaper in the market. Or you say the product is highly quality when compared with other product. And you say that how the application of your product is easy, and you say how good you are when compared with the competitors. So these are the different ways any company will use. Let it be a pharmaceutical company, a non-pharmaceutical company, the strategies of positioning their product into the consumer mind is same. In pharmaceutical marketing, we have two target consumer. One is the physician, where we try to position our product in the physician mind so that he prescribes to the patient. And we sometimes reach straight away to the consumer for the OTC medicines or the supplements and other kinds of cosmetics product through the promoter present in the community pharmacies. So our target is actually either physician or the consumer, depending upon the nature of the product. So a desirable market segment should have these characteristics. So it should be easily identifiable. So when you reach a market, the market, it should be easily understandable so that you understand which is your market segment. And you must be able to access it easily, because this accessibility is important matter when you enter into the international market, because you need to abide with the local legal regulations, which will actually put many setbacks. And so that's an important one. And it should be sizable. You must be able to make money over the target market. And you launch your product in the overseas countries, and you see the amount of population using your product is very limited, and thereby the company is running in the loss, then that's not a desirable market. So it should be a sizable one. And responsive to your target marketing mix. So you choose the marketing mix. You choose the 4Ps or 7Ps, and you see which one is going to be dominating, whether the price or the promotion or the product or place or the physical evidence or whatever it is. Then you will be making a combination of all these with different proportions, and the buyer should respond to that. So when the people are insensitive to the price, if your target market is insensitive to the price, and you promote that you are selling at cheaper price, then that's not going to make any significance, and vice versa. So it should be in such a way that the segment responds to that mix. So as having said that, that marketing segmentation are the variables which are used to make marketing by buyers into similar groups, are making the group into subgroups, you can call it as. So while doing that, the marketers will usually use some characteristics of the people to examine and segment them using using the similarities of the chosen characteristics, and that could be done through the experience and intuitions. So some experienced marketer will tell by intuitions, and sometimes it will work out. Some marketers will have thorough experience over a particular market, and they'll be able to quickly assess on the marketing segmentation. And by adopting new ideas from others, and by analyzing the customer data. So that's what we have also talked about. When you enter into a shop, you scan on something, then automatically your data will be taken by that company. And in future, they will use that to read your buying purchase attitude and your characteristics. Based on that, they will be able to segment the market. So that happens through the membership also. So why this marketing segmentation? What are these marketing segmentation strategies and associated with the segmentation? So it's actually, we have talked that marketing segmentation is marketing strategy in which selected groups of consumer are identified. As a result, you will be able to make the certain products or product lines can be presented to them in a way that appeals to their interest. So you do that, and accordingly you choose the market segmentation and also the characteristics of that segmentation, and you strategize how to reach them based on the disease severity, see the payment methods, and which segment is that, which segment is better. So this segment looks like better when compared with others. So the common market segments in pharmacy, this is what we need to connect to whenever we talk something about in marketing pharmacy or whatever you do in the name of assignment also. So a marketing segmentation is a process, we know that it enables any pharmaceutical companies to see their brand through the views of the customer. That's the point of marketing segments. How do the customers or consumer perceive the product of a pharmaceutical company? Let it be a generics, in terms of generics, so the outcome will be outcome will be noticed by the consumer, and if they take a particular medicine that they're getting cured or getting better, it means they perceive it good. If it goes vice versa, then it's going to be different. So it is an essential component of any pharmaceutical companies for their success to segment the market. So even if it is a pharmaceutical company, and the market segmentation across the pharmaceutical sector or beyond the pharmaceutical sector usually fall into the 4 categories that we will be discussing in this class, one after another. So one is that demographic, where the people are located, and their psychological attributes and behavior, how they behave when it comes to the process of the purchase, and geographical segmentation. So these are the 4 segmentations are very, very important: demographic, psychotropic, and behavioral, and geographical. So we will be discussing about that. So first one, the demographic or geographic segmentation. This is the most common and easiest to use. So here, the pharmaceutical company usually divides the people according to the population variables, like the race, which race is dominant in that particular geographical region, which nationality is more, which gender is more, male or female, or what is their income level, whether the lower income people are more, or middle income is more, or high income is more. And age, whether the children is more or the adult is more or aged people is more, and what is their occupation, whether they are, most of them are employed or unemployed, and whether they live in a family or mostly in a small families or are different ways. And if it is family, what is the sizes of the family, whether they are the joint families like big one, or whether the society has any huge impact over the with the religious concept. So these are the different parameters that the demographic segmentations will use when it divides the market into different subgroups. So you can see whatever I was talking about. So age, sex, race, income, social class, whether the lower class, middle class, higher class, and whether they are educated or not, whether insurance coverage is more in the country or not, whether the government supports for that or not, whether they are employed or unemployed, when the status of residence and the place of birth. So all this will be used to segment the market. So the market segmentation using the demographic or geographic data could be obtained from all of the resources given here. So they could be accessible through uh, the informations of customer business relationship published in all this public as well non-NGOs or private organizations, starting from the Bureau of Labor Statistics until the local libraries. So you can get all the data. So suppose if I wanted to segment the Malaysian market and I wanted to check the racial information, then I need to get into the Census Bureau of Malaysia and take the information from them, identify which race and which percentage they are present among these top three, Malay, Chinese, Indian, and recently the Bengalis also occupying the majority of the population here in Malaysia. So that's how you need to segment your market. And by segmenting the market, you will be able to understand their culture and their way of the attitudes towards the health and health treatment seeking behavior. And thereby you will be able to meet their need appropriately. Senior segments. So senior segment is another potential market where you will understand whether the aged population is more in that particular segment or not, and you will be able to divide them based on their social and professional activity or inactivity. Whether these senior segment, senior citizens present in the particular segment are active or inactive, whether they are making money or they don't making money, whether they are active or passive. So these are the informations that will be used. So available discretionary income, a senior's general level of health, how healthy they are, and the general activity level of seniors, whether they are active or passive, or active or inactive, the amount of discretionary time not taken up with the family, job, social activities. So it varies among these uh, senior segments, the personality, the time, income, and the cognitive functions. Everything is going to be different, and degree of social interaction with the others. So all this will be used in the senior segment. Cohort is usually used to identify the target segments of the market. Basically, this cohort analysis is one part of the target marketing efforts of many business, where they make a cohort segmentation based on the different characteristics as you see there. Swing generation, so which is actually in the age of over the age of 65, and the greatest generation, which usually describes the Americans are the people who has born during the World War time, where the world has gone through a Great Depression. And these people, the greatest generation, helped the society to come out from this depression of the World War loss. And so they called us the greatest generations. And these boomers and baby boomers quite often interchangeable. They call boomers as baby boomers sometimes, or baby boomers as the boomers. So both the words are mentioned in the so it's actually a demographic cohort. It's a kind of a silent generation, the baby boomers, proceeding to the X, they call it as X generation also. So they are somebody, the boomers are somebody who born between 1946 to 1964. after the World War time. So that's called baby boom because they generated the market after that. And you see another one, Generation Jones is actually a kind of social cohort. So the later half of the baby boomers, so the second half of the baby boomers are called as this Generation Jones. They call them as Generation X also sometimes. And the baby buster is the same, like it's interchangeable with the Generation X that is given here. Baby buster and Generation X are almost same, the 13th generation who were born between 65 to 80. And echo boomers who were born between 1982 to 1985. They are basically the children of the baby boomers. And we have Generation X, Generation Y. Generation X is somebody who was born between the early 1980s. Generation X's we actually fall between this boomers and the millennials. Generation Y is actually born between 1980 to 1990. Those who were born between 1980 to 1990 are Generation Y. I think you all must be having these ideas, because this is common terms that we use when we talk about the different age group of people, and we differentiate them, their mindset, their attitudes using these terms. So millennial generation are the people who were born in the last 2 decades in the 20th century. And the other one is psychotropic segmentation is actually defined as market segmentation technique, where the groups are formed according to the psychological traits that influence or that affects the consumption behavior drawn from the people's lifestyle or the preferences. So my preferences, my mindset, my lifestyle is going to determine what is my purchase attitude is going to be. So it's basically how I'm thinking about a particular product or particular process to adopt it, and what do I aspire in my life to be using those products is going to determine. So psychotropic segmentation, understanding psychotropic segmentation of the market population is a quite challenging one because it's variable from people to people. So it's depends on the personality, whether I'm a person of a conservative type who will be resistant to show changes, or I am a person of control freak. So you will always be trying to dominate others. And lifestyle, whether it's a soccer moms. Soccer moms are someone who actually describes the middle class mother of the 1970s days. Is a married middle class American woman who will contribute to the success of his son or daughter, and she will accompany the son to all the activities. And cookness is actually a kind of staying inside one's house. It's a type of insulated lifestyle. And value of self-respect. So through this value of self-respect, the factor, one will be able to understand how an individual seeks a variety of sources of information based on their own self-esteem or self-efficacy. So that actually helps a marketer to understand their purchase behavior also, buying behavior also. Else style is another parameter. So you can see the different terms are given. Disciples, whether disciples are the group of people who will be obedient, trusting, highly compliant. They'll be highly pious. They will be. They are the people who will think that everything happens to the health. They will think God will make it better. So they actually will not be showing much interest towards the medication or the treatment. They will think that the disease has been given by God and the God will correct it. And these medical buffs are kind of engaged, adherent, trusting of the physicians, but feel in control of their own health. So they will have a confidence over the treatment, but they will think that I'm keeping myself fit. When I have some disease, I will say that I'm taking measures to correct it. So I don't want to go to the doctor. But still, if it goes out of my control, then I'll go to the doctor. So this shows that they have the faith in the doctor, but they feel that their health is in their own control. And naturalists who actually study on the natural or holistic remedies, and immortals are kind of group of people. They think that the devil may care the types disregard the physician recommendations, so they will have opposite opinions. And fatalists feel health is out of control, and often they are non-compliant. This is quite negative thought to people. So if you see this table, it gives you an understanding the what is the type of the segment or the group of people, and what is the actual barriers lies within them for the treatment, and what is the way to reach them, and what is the message that can be coined to reach them. So disciples, so sometimes they are forgetful, and through the pharmacies or advertising popular press, we can reach them, and we have to send them or remind or reinforce benefits of the treatment so that they will slowly change their mind, or they are going to adapt and make changes. Medical buffs, and they are kind of strong brand ideas. So these is the people that any new movie comes into the local theater, they will try to be the first people to watch the movie. Any new brand is launched, they will try to use it. So they have strong brand idea, and they will be the first one to switch the brands. And the way to reach them is internet, medical publications, brand specific ads. So in this is the best way to reach the opinion leaders in pharmaceutical marketing. So position treatment as a patient-doctor relationship, stress brand superiority so that you can reach them. And naturalists are the people who studies the natural world, and they actually basically distress the traditional analysis about the side effects. So that's the barrier to reach them. And guerrilla marketing is the best way to reach them. Guerrilla marketing is you suddenly decrease the price huge, and you make it as a clearance sale, and even this naturalist will walk in and buy. So thereby you can position your brand into their market, in their mind. And immortals, they are ill-informed, often in denial, and you can reach them through their family members, the peers, and the telephone reminders. And you need to give them deliver backup calls and clarify necessity for the treatment so that they will be slowly changing. And fatalists are someone who feels the hopeless and helpless, and to them also you can also reach them through the same ways: family members, peers, and telephone reminders. And you can motivate them by giving the message that with the help you can overcome the symptoms. So you actually encourage them to go for the treatment and saying that it will actually work out. The behavioral segment, which is the most common factor or the parameter used in pharmaceutical company also, using this 80/20 rules. Means according to this rule, according to this Pareto principle, which states that for many outcomes, roughly 80% of the consequences come from the 20% of the causes. So in other words, if you wanted to say, the small percentage of the causes have an outsized effect. So you need to identify the 20% of the causes in order to treat or in order to correct the 80% of the consequences. So this concept is very important to understand because it can help one to identify which initiative to prioritize so you can make the most impact. This is 80/20 rule. So you prioritize the 20% factors that will produce the best result. So there's no point of prioritizing the 80% consequences because you need to first stop this 20% cause. So behavioral segmentation again refers to process in marketing, which divides customer into different segments again, depending upon their behavior pattern. when interacting with a particular business or website. So as you see here, usage, whether they are a heavy user, medium user, or light user, and occasions, whether they major or minor illnesses, home or vacations, they are the regular buyer or occasional buyer, and self or family member. So whether they buy it for the self or buy it for the total family. So now you see we buy the sanitizer for the total family. We buy the mask for the total family. So it becomes the behavior now. The user status and loyalty, whether they are the first time user or the repeated user or potential user will determine what is the behavior of purchasing. And potential behavior, the readiness to act, readiness to change, readiness to adopt for the new treatment. So when we say this readiness to adopt the new treatment, we must understand what is the adoption. So usually they will explain this with the adoption models, means it's actually one's ability to accommodate or adapt new changes. So in pharmaceutical term, we can say that a patient's ability to adopt a new treatment, or physician ability to adopt a new drug launched in the market. So they explain with this curve. This is called innovation adoption curve. It's kind of bell curve, as you see. This is used to show the deviations within the group. So you can see that there is a deviations. So this is the highest point in this bell curve, which indicates the late maturity and early maturity. So the late maturity makes up the most population here. So that gives the business. So totally, if you see here, it has 5 categories from the early adopters, early majority, and late majority, and laggards. Okay, so these one, if you further look into this bell curve, each category that has been put in this picture features different characteristics. It describes different characteristics, and it sheds light on whether or not consumer will be on board with something new in the market. Consumer in the sense physician will be on board with the marketing company when a new product or new drug is introduced into the market. Or there will be different types of population. Of course, we will see. Let it be a physician or let it be a pharmacist. Their characteristics will be different, and they will fall in either of this segment. So here in this bell curve, it starts with the innovators. So anything that a company comes up with, they will be first using within their segment. So they actually are the people who is in the early rate of adoption. So they will be, suppose if it is a mobile and the company has invented it, and first they will be using it. If it is a drug and the company invented, the company will conduct the clinical trials and they will recruit the patient, they will treat it them first. So they take the risk there, because they are willing to try the new product or new treatment or lifestyle or any fashion trend that is introduced into the society. So the second one is actually the early adopters. They are opinion leaders in pharmaceutical marketing, and these early adopters is another group of risk takers. The first risk taker is innovator, because they conduct clinical trials and they take risk there. And opinion leaders are the physicians who use the drug for the first time with their patients, and thereby they take the risk as well. So these early adopters or opinion leaders will be able to recognize the need for the change and improvement, and they will need a better drug to get better therapeutic outcome, a better drug to get a reduced or nil side effects than the existing one. So they will always be on some needs, and they will be easily adopting to the new changes and the new technologies, provided if satisfy them. And then next goes here the early majority, and these early majority are the people they adopt any idea, any product comes into the market sooner than the average person. Means that's why we call them as the early majority. What is important here is that they need some more evidence that something new is working. So that some more evidence that something new is working will be derived from these opinion leaders. So that's why we talked that when you launch a new product, and the pharmaceutical company will always try to reach the opinion leaders in that particular target market so that the early majority people will also accept it. And then comes this late majority. So the individuals are the physicians, are the patients in this category, want to know whether the innovation or the new product has been successful or are unlikely to take the risk this group. So if you make it off of this, off of the bell curve, so this off is ready to take the risk, this off is not ready to take the risk. So the late majority will not be ready to take the risk. They will wait until someone takes the treatment, and they wait until they really survive for a long time, then they will go for taking the treatment. And the next one, laggards, are people who are actually they will refuse to take the to accept or to adopt the changes. So we would have some people, even the modern clothes are there, they would still prefer to wear the traditional clothes because they feel very comfortable. And there are Android phones in the market, they will be still happy with the old phones. And there are electric cars in the market, and they will not be interested in changing because they simply don't want to change. So that population will be there. So the good thing is that we have these early majority people to adopt and late majority people to adopt in high proportion in the market. So it's easy for a company to reach them and make a business. Suppose if you choose a target market where this laggard population is more, then definitely you're not going to make money. You're not going to make business. So that's where the strategy lies. So special cases of behavioral segmentations, these are the disease management. So whether 5 or more than 5 medications are used in the drug regimen, and the case management. So whether the concurrent disease states present, history of non-compliance, presence of drugs that require therapeutic drug monitoring, everything will be considered here. So the benefit of segmentation. So this is something that I've explained from the beginning, that through this benefit segmentation is actually something that as a consumer, one will always research a product or services given to them. And they will take an insight, a very invaluable insight, to which the benefit features, the uses, or the problems are most applicable to them. So that's the benefit segmentation. Behavior is linked to the benefit sought. So as a consumer, my behavior of purchasing a product is always will be based on the benefit that I'm going to get from that particular product. So it's something related to the total product concept. So why is this benefit segmentation is important? Because that basically helps the companies to identify the customers on the basis of the value they are looking out to take a product or services which is launched newly. So if you don't understand what is the benefit or the need or want of the consumer from your product launch, then you will not be able to serve that. When you are not able to serve that, you will not be able to reach the market and make money. So based on this benefit segmentations, so the buyers are divided into quality buyers, service buyers, value buyers, economy buyers. So quality buyers and service buyers are the luxury category. Means quality buyers will buy without regard to the cost. All they want is they want satisfaction. They want the product to serve them. And service buyers are more of the personal care. So quality buyers is something that I'm a person who just want a BMW car. So I go and purchase it. I'm a person who is concerned about the service. So the BMW outlet present in the city is not giving good service. Honda is giving good service, so I go for Honda. So they are more of how personal caring and services given. So the same goes. So sometimes they will go based on the doctor, sometimes they will go based on the hospital that gives a better services. And value buyers are the people who is actually the best value for the money. So I pay for it, whether I got the treatment or the services to the money that I paid or not becomes the concern of this value buyers. So their concern is always that the quality of the services and the treatment they receive should match with the price that they pay. And economy buyers are the people who are always the cheapest alternative that will minimize the cost. So anything that comes, they see a product, they know the price, and their mind will quickly look for the alternate with the lowest price or the cheapest price, and they will buy that. So these economy buyers will not be much concerned about the durability of the product. They just need alternate at that moment. Whereas the quality buyers will be more concerned about the durability of the product, how long the product is going to serve them. So as I said, the benefit of pharmaceutical marketing segmentation is something same that what we have been discussing, that by marketing the segmenting the market even within the pharmaceutical sector, one will be able to minimize the waste and free up the resources, and thereby they will open up a new doors for the pharmaceutical organization in the face of pricing cost and demand for the affordable healthcare and drug development. So that is the objective, that is the benefit of this pharmaceutical marketing segmentation. So you will not be wasting the time and resources on unnecessary target, and you will not be losing your business. So all the characteristics that we have discussed so far will be used in pharmaceutical marketing segmentation also, to segment the market and understand them and design your message or product in such a way that it will reach the consumer and it will serve the needs and wants of the consumer. So you will be understanding the attitude of the segment. So if you take this example given, as it has been quoted in this New York Times in 2007 on March 2nd, what happened is Walmart has conducted a research for a period of 12 months, and they found that almost 200 million customers fall into either of these categories. There are three categories. One is the brand aspirational. This is the people with the low incomes, but they will be obsessed with the names like KitchenAid. So brand addict, you can call them. And price sensitive affluence. This is wealthier shoppers who loves the deals. And finally, the value price shoppers who like the low price and cannot afford much more. So Walmart has identified that the majority of the consumer that is coming into their shop and doing purchase is somebody who fall into three of these major categories. So they were able to identify the product decisions and organize the group into three categories, as we have seen in the previous slide. And they identified their purchase attitude. Then they have shortlisted that these are the list of items that covers all the three groups of people that they have identified as in the previous slide. And one is food, entertainment, apparels, home goods, and pharmacy. So you can understand that how Walmart created these power product categories based on the research they have done with the 200 million customers, and identified and grouped them into three different categories. And thereby they understand that not only what they purchase, and they basically understood the way they actually do purchasing, because that is a more psychological stuff. And then they were able to segment the shop into different categories. As a result, they were able to make a big money with us. So this is called power product categories. So this indicates that what are the main products or main services the consumer always thinks when they get into a shops. Of course, food, and we look for entertainment, and we look for apparels, we look for home goods, and we look for medicines. So if you have these 4 departments within your shopping shop, then you will be able to cover almost all the 3 types of groups of consumers that you have seen in the previous slide. Yeah. The same goes to the OTC market. OTC market is actually over-the-counter market. It's a kind of decentralized market. In this OTC market, the participant of the OTC market trade the stock or any commodities, or let it be the currencies or other instruments that is taking place between the 2 parties directly. So that's how in pharmaceutical sector, if you see the OTC market is taking place between the pharmacist and the consumer. No physician is coming in between. So that is the OTC market. So there is no central exchange or broker. So in this pharmaceutical sector, we will call physician as the central exchange, because he deals with the patient, he deals with the pharmacist, and he gives them the medicine. That is how it's supposed to be. But in Malaysia, physician deals and physician himself gives the medicines. In other countries, it's different. So they segment the group into different categories based on this OTC market and the consumer behavior. One is the value buyer. The value buyer is actually, you can see that they fall between the lower price and high quality. It means that quality is important for them. At the same time, price also important to them. But when it comes to the matter of quality or the price, the value buyers will always go towards the quality, high quality, and will give less importance to the price. So these consumer, the value buyer consumer, will always have the mindset of like any product that they purchase, they expect it to last for a long time, and that should have enduring values. So that's why they will give importance to the quality when it comes between the quality or price. So that they are called as value buyer. So these value buyer usually will conduct extensive pre-purchase research. So the extended problem solving attitude of purchasing. And finally, they will make a very logical decision, and they will not be making any emotional or impulsive choices. So that is why they are called as value buyers. And the next group is economy buyer. So this economy buyer is a person with a kind of overall authority in the buying decision. The economy buyer are the kind of people, they will say no to the other people when they say yes, and they will say yes when the other people say no. They will always have opposite opinion. They will not have the trust on the other population. And luxury buyers are people who will look for high quality and a high price. So they will always have the confident, like if the price is higher, then the quality is supposedly to be higher. So they will always go and see the display, and they'll see which is the costly one, and they will take that because they think that the costliest item displayed will be the highest quality. So they buy that. Empirical versus hypothesis-driven approaches is to reach the market or to adapt a new product. Some we will do it based on the experience, and sometimes we take experience of others, or we take experience of our own purchase from the previous purchase. Sometimes Every time we buy something, we wanted to experiment it. We wanted to use it and see whether it really works. So the world is becoming too complex to rely on solely on experience. So experimentation is becoming important nowadays. So a competitive market segmentation within the practicing pharmacists requires a development of effective or efficient marketing strategies from the pharmacist. If a pharmacist has this effective segmentation practice, he will be able to attract the new clients, and not only attracting the new clients, and he will be able to maintain the existing client also, and thereby he develop the customer pharmacist loyalty, so that the customer will come back again as the repeated purchaser. So by making this patronage, all pharmacists should segment and target the patients, and thereby they will be able to, mainly if you take the community pharmacy sector, and the pharmacist will be able to influence the OTC purchase of the consumer. So we will have some favorite pharmacists, a favorite pharmacy assistant who we will trust, and if there's something good about some product and ask us to try, we will be happy to buy it. And again, pharmacists also use the same parameters to segment the market, like demographic, psychotropic, and other parameters to segment the market. So in order to segment the market, pharmacists need to research the market by talking with the patients, by inviting the group of a patient to chat, so that you will understand what are the commonalities and the differences among the group, and what is their needs and wants, so that you can fit into their needs and wants. Conduct surveys by distributing the different survey tools. Read as much as possible on the updates and novelties in the healthcare sector, so that you will be confident enough to interact with your patients. And use the internet, of course. It has become one of the common norms that every one of us use internet for everything that we do in the day-to-day activities. And mine patients' data files, so that you will be able to understand their history, observe how customer shops, like what Walmart has done with their case, and test market ideas. So you try to implement the new ideas and check whether it works or not. If it works, then take it up. If it is not working, then see how you have to modify it and change it. So using segmentation in practice as these different steps, from step 1 to step 8, sometimes you may be asked to write the steps involved in the segmentation process of a pharmacy practicing setup, then you need to be able to write these 8 steps. So sometimes it will be asked that steps in 5 marks, it means you need to write eight steps. Sometimes they will ask the 5 steps, then just write any 5 steps. It depends on the question and the amount of marks that is given. So step 1, identify the key market. Then step 2, learn as much as you can about the segment in which you are interested, your target segment. And step 3, describe a typical person in the segment. There will be one unique person who will actually be the representative for this total segment. So you need to be able to describe him properly so that you can understand the whole segment. And determine the desirability of the segment. So what they are up to, what is their interest, what is their attitude of accepting new treatment or new drug. And select segments and create written plans that how you are going to target them. And you need to establish a budget, the marketing budget. And step 7, develop measures for the success of targeting efforts. What is the sales volume required to be set? And the number of repeat visits, everything will be planned here, measures. And choose a future date when you will release your marketing, reassess your marketing efforts, so that you can improve better. So as a conclusion, people do not always fall into any niche segment. Those who do often act differently from others in their segment. Segment is only a tool never stop observing and questioning. You need to keep observing the population. You need to keep understanding the characteristics of the segments, because it changes from time to time. Because the segment will always, the market population will always have different target people. So you need to keep, and that will be changing, and you need to keep reading, studying them time to time. All right, see, there are 2 students absent. I will check the names and put them absent later. Stay online. If you have any questions, you can unmute or speak, or you can type. If not, please stay online. Let me take the attendance formalities. Right, the attendance has been taken. And if you have no other questions further to discuss, we can conclude the class. Thank you. Take care. See you in the afternoon class.